Kellyanne Conway is still being brought on the news. I don't know why, I guess they gotta fill slots. But Kellyanne Conway was there and she was talking about the recent basically anti-religious violence, because again, we are seeing it in churches, mosques, and synagogues. All seems to be white nationalists for the most part now. In any event, she had an issue with what we are talking about and what we're not talking about when that is discussed. And for some reason, even though she was being asked about Donald Trump's defense of white supremacists in the US, she decided to bring up AOC.
I see officials who get a lot of airtime and ink, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman, who tweets many times about the mosque and never once about the
Kellyanne, you brought up Charlottesville,
in Sri Lanka.
Okay, so Donald Trump, again, for 2 years now has been defending these white nationalists. Just a month ago said it's not a big issue, it's not a rising threat, don't worry about it. Again, Donald Trump and his administration and the right-wing media in the wake of right-wing terror attacks become PR for those groups. They are just trying to distract you from taking seriously the threat that is obvious to everyone who's watching what's going on around this country. And one of the distractions that she tries to bring up is AOC didn't tweet about this one particular thing, even though she tweets a lot. Now, by the time she went on the news to say that, we already knew exactly why AOC had not been on Twitter for those couple of days. Kellyanne, we'll get to that in 1 second, but in any event, in reference to that video, Kellyanne Conway goes on Twitter and says, I was referring to AOC's silence about the Sri Lanka massacre of Christians, not Easter worshipers, as Obama and Hillary oddly said. Try listening before spewing. Well, we did listen, we know what you were talking about, and AOC responded saying, hello, Miss Conway. On Easter, I was away from tech visiting my grandmother in Puerto Rico, which continues to suffer from the White House's incompetent disaster response. Are you trying to imply that I'm less Christian? What was the point of you bringing this up on national TV? Again, I think that might well be what Kellyanne Conway was trying to imply. They spent years trying to pretend that Barack Obama was not a Christian, that he was a Muslim. Why not AOC as well? AOC listed a whole bunch of the lingering problems in Puerto Rico, keeping to the policy, staying focused on that, and then says, the terrorist attack in Sri Lanka was horrifying, saying Easter worshipers matters because Easter is the holiest day of the year for Christians, and to be targeted on Easter highlights how heinous the attack was. Just as saying yesterday's San Diego shooting was on Passover. You are using this as an excuse to stoke suspicion around my Christianity and faith life. The Sri Lanka massacre was horrifying. No one should be targeted for their religion. If you're so moved, let's do more to welcome immigrants fleeing religious persecution. I have a feeling she will not be taken up on that offer.
At all, no.
No, but again, this is what they do. Whether it's Meghan McCain with Ilhan Omar or it's Kellyanne Conway about AOC, we have the same pattern plays out over and over and over again. You get a right-wing white guy between the ages of 18 and 28. He goes into a place of worship, he shoots it up, and then they go on the news to target a woman of color and say that they're the issue. Either they're to blame with Ilhan Omar, or why is it that they don't care enough? The problem is really with them. Isn't it odd how the strategy always seems to come back to that?
Right, that she didn't tweet. She's not the president. Like, people don't need to hear her say, hey, you matter. And it wouldn't matter about the president if he wasn't so anti-black and brown. Like, people wouldn't shine a light on what he responds to and what he doesn't if it weren't so clearly white.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, the whole thing is ridiculous. And I hate when people have to defend their Christianity. Or their level of Christianity, or their faith, because there's such a thin line between being anti every other religion. Do you know what I mean? It just comes off. It puts people in a bad position because, like, when President Obama has to constantly defend the fact that he's a Christian, you don't want Muslim people to be like. Does that make sense? Like, the point is that
it makes it a weird point of focus in American politics.
Yeah, he's not a Muslim. Well, it wouldn't be a problem if he was.
Exactly.
Wouldn't be a problem if she weren't a Christian.
But he cares about what is true, so he has to defend himself, even though it makes it seem as if he's defending himself against something that's bad, even though it's not bad.
Right, and her faith is important to her. It wouldn't matter though if she wasn't a Christian.
Exactly.
That wouldn't matter. This is America.
Yeah.
So it's just.
Yeah, and another way that it doesn't matter is look at how all of the right-wing Christians that are prominently in media and politics are responding to this. Doesn't seem like that's really helping.
Right.
If Kellyanne Conway takes it so unseriously as to go on the news and make it about AOC.
Lying is anti-Christian. Hello.
Yeah, they seemed against it. Jesus wasn't a big fan. Also, not a big fan of guns, I would imagine. Thank you very much for watching this clip from the Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.